It is March 22nd, 2021. We're here at the front of the property at 422 South Nardo in Solana Beach, California. We're going to go ahead and inspect as many of the drain, sewer, and outside area drains as we possibly can here. So you can see we're here in the front yard of the property. Here's the driveway area. And right off the very front entry point to the house, as you come forward here, we have a 4-inch ABS access. We assume this is into the sewer pipe. We only see one clean out here, and this one would be sweeping away from the house. So we go down to here, turn into the system. Looks like we're hanging down vertically. And then right here you can see we're about to transition into the horizontal pipe. So this should be the main sewer for the entire house here. The house was built recently, and I believe that they said 2008, so it should be all ABS plastic like we're seeing right here at least. So go down this line here, see if there's any issues with the piping as far as any debris in the system, anything that's broken, cracked, root intrusions, looking for all those kind of things. Looks like that's just some glue on the right hand side. Looks like that may be opening into a little bit bigger pipe here. This is still all plastic pipe, which is what you want to see, of course. You don't want to see cast iron or clay. Those are just cobwebs in the piping right there. A little bit of debris on the bottom that's caked up, but nothing significant. Okay, we can see right there on the top of the pipe that opens up, and we can see also that the pipe has little glue connection points there. So that looks like that's another clean out access point. This is about 45 feet out from here approximately, so it's probably getting really close to the side or front of the house, whichever way the line eventually runs to then tap into the city at some point. So we may need to come back at this 46-foot mark here to locate this clean out, but we're going to continue down the line right there. If this is close to the ending point, this is what we would call the property line clean out. And as we go forward, we actually can see that there's a change in material here, and this is PVC pipe now. So we're transitioning from the black ABS, which is what construction and homes are usually built with, and then it transitions to PVC here, which is what the city and their contractors use for the lines, for the pipes in the street, and then the little bit of lateral that comes off of that. So got a little bit of a lip right there from how that PVC and ABS were joined, so we have to kind of jump over that. Get the camera moving kind of quickly if we can. If not, we'll have to get a second. There we go. So this is, again, all newer plastic as well, which is what you want to see. A little bit of debris got on our lens, it looks like, but overall we're not seeing anything, so the fact that it's not perfectly clear doesn't really matter at this point. It's kind of shedding off right there, a little bit better view. Okay, here's the dump into the main city. So you can actually see on the very bottom right of the screen all the water cascading through the pipe. So this is the end of the lateral for this house. We're right at about 69 feet out from the entry point of this vertical clean out that we accessed in the front yard. And then this is the end of the lateral, and it's also plastic though in the street for the city, and you can see again the water cascading by from the neighboring houses that everybody is then dumping into this portion of the system. So everything looks good here. So what we're going to do is, though, we're going to go ahead and pull back and pause the video and pull back to about that 46-foot mark just to see where that other clean out is located at, to make sure that if it's on the property we know where it's at. Okay, so we did go ahead and locate, this is another cleanout access point right here on the system, and there is a lid. So when you come to the very front of the house by the concrete walkway in between the bushes, as soon as you walk in through there, to the very immediate left after that bush, there's another green circular cover box lid, and that underneath has another 4-inch black ABS cleanout access point there, and that's what that vertical pipe right there is, that T-junction that dumps into right here. So the sewer line is in fact on Nardo Avenue, and so basically there's nothing to worry about as far as the piping across the front yard that would ever probably need to be dug up or accessed, and probably never even have to require any maintenance on it, obviously, at this point, because there's no issues. So other than if somebody flushes something down that they shouldn't, some type of heavy paper product, diaper, wipes, feminine hygiene products, the system should operate perfectly and function on completely normal. So we're now going to go ahead and pause the video and move over to our next clean out access points we have on the perimeter of the house. Okay, so we've gone ahead and have another clean out access. You can see right here on the driveway when you come down from the house, we have a little gated area here, which is right before you come to the garage door entry points. And so right here in the bushes, we have a sewer clean out. Now we've left another camera where we went from the very first pipe in the front yard, so we can see when we intersect at that point to give essentially a point of reference. So we'll go down this pipe here. We'll confirm that this is a sewer line and not an area drain. It would be rare that it would be an area drain, but you never know sometimes. It is ABS pipe. We see a bunch of T-junctions here because we have a guest bathroom right here off one of the garage areas, and then in the second level of the house, not too far from this access point we're at, we have bathrooms in the very front upstairs portion of the home. So those are going to possibly dump into this portion of the system here as well. But we are seeing again that it's all new plastic ABS, which is what we expected. Looks like we have a turn right here on the system. It's like a full 90 and a sweep right here. And then here you can see we now junction into the other portion of the horizontal line here from that change in direction, and have now running across. So we have just a little bit of staining water in the pipe right there. It's very negligible, so it's not a big deal whatsoever. Somebody also may be running facilities in the house right now, but it doesn't look like it, that there's a bunch of running water. Got a little bit of movement there, but there are people home inside the residence, so that is possible. Continue down the line right here. A little bit of debris right there. Does not look like roots intruding. Looks like some little piece of hair or some little debris right there. Two little tiny pieces there. It's at an ABS glue joint, so it's possible something just got stuck at that little piece of pipe. It could even be some glue residue, or it could be the possibility that it wasn't glued properly and somehow some miniature roots are trying to get in there, but I highly doubt that. But again, it's a 50-foot mark right here from this clean out access point, and I really don't think those are roots getting in the system there. But we just want to double check that. Okay, looks like we're coming up on our other camera. So you can see right here. Here's the other camera that we had left inside the sewer pipe from the front yard, the first clean out we went into to give a point of reference. So we now know that we don't need to go any further from here. So you basically have right about a 70-foot run from that first clean out to the city, and then from this clean out we've got about a 60-foot run or so before you get to the next clean out. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and pause the video. We're going to pull back to that 50-foot mark where we had those two little straggling things hanging down from the pipe. We'll go ahead and locate that just to see where that's at in case it happens to be under a tree or a large bush somehow in the front yard, just to give clarity. But again, we don't feel that those are roots in the pipe here. Camera a little glitchy there, sorry. There we go. There was that little area. It was actually about 55 feet, sorry. So we're going to leave our camera right underneath there. We're going to pause and just locate this. Okay, so we've gone ahead and located this area. The sewer pipe at this point is about 4 feet 10 inches deep, so it's just under 5 feet deep, about 58 inches deep. This is in a little outside deck area outside the door from this front little extra unit that they have. So there's a little mini palm of some type on front of this by a few feet after the deck ends. So again, I don't think those are roots, but just to be safe in case long term, we've got some little markers that we put on the ground. So we're going to pause and move our camera over to that area just so you can see what we're referring to, where this particular spot is that you're looking at right there underground. Okay, so move our camera over here to, again, this front little extra unit that's here. Here's the little patio area. So here's the discs that we did marked on the ground to show where that little area was. So here's that little mini palm set up there. Again, we don't think it's roots, but just so everybody knows. So these three discs denote the path of the pipe, and the yellow disc in the middle is actually exactly where that spot was at in the pipe. Again, it was 4 feet 10 inches deep. This is just outside this little doorway. It leads off this little parking spot right off the entryway of the driveway. So we're now going to move over to the next cleanout. Okay, so one of the issues the home inspection had noted as you come through the gate here at the end of the driveway into the backyard. In this corner here, they have an outdoor shower, and the drain was not draining. So we did have the capability with just some needle nose pliers to pull off the lid because it was not secured in with any screws. So then we went ahead and used our wet dry shop vac right there, you see, and extracted the water that was hanging out both on the concrete here from the stain you can see and down into the vertical pipe here. But as we go down into this pipe, which does appear to be all plastic, we don't know if it stays plastic, we come to an end right there where the vacuum wouldn't extract all of that. So we're going to go ahead and poke and prod that just for a second here with a screwdriver and see if any of that kind of moves or shifts around. And that's hard right there. That's like it's a bottom out. So I don't know if we put the camera down, if that opens up to the side, the left or the right. Does not appear to be, as you can see. So there's nothing on the side walls there that show that it leads off. So that appears to literally be just a dead end. Does not appear to be that it's solid packed with anything, but anything's possible that something got poured in there and is hardened up in some weird fashion. But an outdoor shower, you're only permitted to use cold water only in the city and county of San Diego. And so I don't know if that shower is also connected to hot water as well. Additionally, obviously you're not allowed to have any outdoor areas like this just go to regular runoff onto a neighbor's property, eventually out to the storm drain, any of that. So I don't know if this was ever connected to anything, but that's what's required in the county in San Diego and all the cities therein. So not sure what was done here and what wasn't done here or what's changed over time. You could try to drill that out and see if it does open up, but it seems very hard, so I don't know if it ever went anywhere, if it was meant just to evaporate out of the ground, which isn't good for the concrete, the area, growth of algae, everything. So not really sure where you could run this to, though, because as of right now, the closest drain is a sewer clean out all the way down the driveway, really far away that we just came from, where we have no other clean outs between there and this long run, so you get to this side backyard area here, and there's nothing else around the perimeter as you go this way towards the back of the house either. So that'll have to be left up to the owners to decide on that. So we're now going to move over to the next clean-out access points that we have. Oh, we did want to go ahead and show this really fast before we do move on. So we filled up a little bottle of water, just a little small drinking water bottle with water, and so we poured that back down into the... Oops, our camera there just cut out. We apologize. I don't know if we're still recording. For some reason our camera got a little glitchy there. We're going to pause the video for a second here. Okay, so I apologize, our camera cut out there, came back on. We grabbed another camera just in case it happens again. But again, so what we did was we took a little bottle of water, filled it up with some water from the hose. We dumped that little 16-ounce bottle of water down here, and you can see it went nowhere. So it filled back up, the whole vertical pipe, into the well here on the top already, and did not drain out and is just standing there. So we didn't see anything again that also led anywhere, but we just want to show that even though we vacuumed out what we could and it appears to be a dead end, it's not draining at all as well still. Okay, so now clear on the other side of the house, and you can see right here, right off the corner of the house, barbecue there. This is the kitchen right in here. We do have another 1.5 inch clean out farther down than we found on the wall, but we have this clean out right here. We assume is going to go into the system, but we'll see. There's no bathrooms right here on this corner of the house, so we'll see if this eventually does connect and tie in to one that's applicable. A lot of cobwebs there on the line right there in front of our camera lens, so we're going to go ahead and pause for 1 second while we pull back out and try to clean some of that off. Okay, so we've cleaned that off. We'll see if that stays that way the rest of our way down the line here. Just a lot of little bugs and debris from this dry pipe. They tend to live in the pipe where there's no water to wash them out. So they're feeding and living off of that there. So we've got a little bit of debris in the line right here. We've probably entered where the kitchen dumps into the system. That's probably why we're seeing this kind of debris right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pause the video for 1 second and go in and ask the homeowner if we can run some cold water and see if this is the access point we're at. Okay, so the homeowner is turning on the kitchen faucet cold water here, which again we assume this line is tying into, depending on the amount of debris. So you can see right there, we kind of just from pulling back our camera it wash off, and there you go, there's the water. It's caught up to this. So this is in fact the kitchen line right here that we're underneath. It's an island sink. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the water running because even though it's newer plastic, on kitchen drain lines like this, they can easily clog up with the camera, pushing all the debris. So we want to let this keep running because we certainly don't want to cause a stoppage on the line for just this inspection process. There we go. Looks like we may have opened up into the larger pipe right there. And we'll let this water keep running because this will actually help us possibly get farther down the line. And again, all the fat and grease and food debris that's accumulated over the years might keep blocking up the lens. We may lose our image on occasion as the little cascading water gets in front of the lens, but looks like there's a T-Junction right there. So all the other fixtures that will eventually tie in from the other bathroom that you have will catch into this system as the main continues to go. That last T that we just passed was also probably the bar sink. So after the kitchen, there's a bar sink before you continue down the system. So that would have been what that T-junction was, just to give you a point of reference. A little bit of water hanging out there blocking our view. But again, if we need to, we'll keep the recording when we pull backwards and reverse. But again, this is all new plastic pipes, and this is what we want to see. But we want to keep the water running right now just to help and aid in getting all the way out. So what we'll do is just keep pushing through here as quickly as we can. The view might come and go, and then once we shut the kitchen water off, we'll show this in reverse. Now here's the T-junction right here. then there's one immediately after. So this is probably, again, where the other bathrooms off the middle of the hallway of the house, the other master bathroom, and the downstairs level we're also dumping into. So again, everything looks like it's all newer plastic. Okay, right there you can see a little bit of debris, so that may even be the laundry we're at. We're 100 feet out right now. Could be getting very close to the laundry where that dumps into. That might be some lint and debris that dumps in from the laundry. And there's also a utility sink in the garage, which is right behind the laundry. That also could just be some debris that's coming down from one of the bathroom sinks or tub or showers. Okay, looks like our camera just kind of cut out us again there, so if it's still recording audio, we apologize. We're going to go ahead and pause the video for a second. Okay, so our other camera at 100 feet for some reason kind of glitchy, and it cut out, wouldn't turn back on again. So rather than waste time, we went ahead and brought another camera because we have multiple with us. So there you can see in the walkways our other camera there at the corner of the house where we went out 100 feet. Our kitchen cleanout is right there past that little animal trap box you see and our white bucket. So we've already seen the kitchen though from the other one. Now right next to the HVAC unit right here, here's again the end of this side of the house, we have another 3-inch cleanout. So we're going to go ahead and put this other camera in from here, and we will see if this of course also intersects with the main sewer that we got out to, and may cross the pass with our other camera. A little bit of debris, and there you go. There's our other camera push rod. So this does in fact intersect into this portion of the system. So there's these two cleanouts on this side of the house. They both lead into the main sewer, leading across. So we'll go ahead and pull this out. So now the water has been shut off on the kitchen. So we have this one little area you can see right here. It's very small, negligible, not anything large, that looks like it's holding just a little bit of water, a very, very small amount, nothing severe in any way, shape, or form. But just a little bit of water is being held there. The pipe's not perfect in its downhill sloping that they're required to do of 1/4 inch for every foot it travels. So we've seen all this with the other camera, so we're actually going to push through this relatively quick here. Right, there's that little bit more standing water right here. So you can see, we'll back up on this a little bit. That's why you've got some more fat, food, and grease mounded up on the left and right hand sides of the pipe right there. Excuse me, all that yellow-white debris. It's because the water's not letting it drain out perfectly, because there's a little what we call a sag in the line. It does not have all perfect downhill slope. Alright, so here is again all the plastic pipe, all looks good. A little bit, a tiny bit of water hanging out here right before this turn, but nothing severe. Here's these T-junctions we came up upon. And then we know we're coming up to, there's that debris that we mentioned that could be coming in from one of the sink drains or tub shower, or we may even be as far out as the laundry and utility sink. We'll now continue past here. Another T-junction right there still. So we do have a lot of bathrooms, obviously, both from the upstairs that come across from this line, as well as the master downstairs as well, that then lead across before you head out towards the laundry and garage area. A little bit of pocket of standing water there as well, but again, nothing real severe, and there's nothing hanging out in there. There's no toilet paper, feces, or anything that's even binding in that. So other than the little bit of grease, fat, and food debris that's bound up in some of the areas farther back, you can see that these small areas of standing water, which are very small, are not affecting the performance of the system. If it was cast iron, it'd be a different issue because it would lead to the corrosion of the line. But Okay, so we have a little bit of dripping coming from there, so I think there's a filtration system under the utility sink that dumps in wastewater, so maybe that's what that is right there. Otherwise, it's just some residual from one of the faucets or toilets being turned down, of course. Now we have only about 120 feet on here, so we only have a few more feet that we can push through this system right here. We do have our other camera in that's pushed in still from the other side of the house, but it's so far out because it's such a large home we may not actually reach that. Here's a turn on the system here. We're still going. Again, not finding any problems though whatsoever. So we've only got literally a couple more feet that we can push, and that's going to be about it. So again, we don't expect to find anything wrong. We've not seen anything wrong with the system to this point. And so a little bit of standing water right here as well, but nothing severe. Again, this is as far as we can push with the camera. Don't have any more length on this. So we're right at about 134 feet, as you can see, almost on our counter. And so we're probably getting relatively close to the other side of the house where the other camera is junctioning in. But we just are missing it by just a little bit, at least at the bare minimum, so we can't get all the way out through there. But again, none of these cleanouts also have ever really been open that we can tell. All the Teflon tape appears to have been intact for a while. There's no wear indicator marks on the cleanout that somebody's had to hydrojet, snake, chain knock, any kind of cleaning of the system. So it just doesn't look like they've ever had any stoppages here on this main sewer, so it's really not a concern in any way. Obviously, there's going to be localized individual stoppages where you're going to have to snake out the sink drains, showers, and tubs, and that's the trapway that's inside the home itself, which we don't put cameras through. But the main sewer itself, under the slab and across the front yard, is all in good condition. It's all new plastic, so everything is in perfect working condition. So we're now going to go ahead and pause, and we're going to move over to the area drains we have in the backyard. Okay, so we're now here in the backyard of the house, and we have two large irrigation area drain boxes. We have then on the other side over there also a lid that leads to a sump pump. We don't know if these area drains dump into the sump pump. We did not see a piece on the chamber, but it is partially filled with water. So we're going to go ahead and just take a look at these, see if they're full of any debris, and or if they have a terminating or ending point. So far pretty clear for an underground area drain. Obviously they don't really worry about trying to get proper slope on these things too often, so see, we're dragging some debris, or it's caked up on the front of our lens. We can't really say for sure, but there we go. We just opened back up into the pipe right there. Now we have a turn on the line, so this may come from the next level up as you go back towards the house here, possibly. We saw the blue glue there, so it does look like it's regular PVC, so that's good. Got a little bit of roots right there, as you can see, so we're about 50 feet in from this one here. We've not seen any other boxes, lids, or access points, so just a little bit there, nothing big right now. That looks like a T. Nope, that's just a turn fitting right there. Still headed, I believe, along the side of the property. We're hoping we'll come to another box that we did not discover or notice, or at least another T where we can locate to see if there's another access point. But the line is all clear, so that's the good news. That's all that really matters at this point. Looks like it'll function perfect for whatever water it's catching, but again, based on the slope of the backyard, it looks like there's just these two big boxes to catch all the runoff since this is the low point in the yard. Got a little bit more roots right there growing in. Looks like the bottom of the pipe has got a crack or a fissure line in it. You can see right there. So this is at about 78, 79 feet. So we'll locate this as well, just in case it gets worse over time. Running for a few feet there. Getting harder to push out. We're at quite a long distance out here at almost 80 feet. And we're partially going uphill because we're going away from this drain, and it does appear that, of course, it leads back into here. So we're probably not going to get too much further right here. Cameras in general are not meant to be pushed uphill, actually, especially for long distances. We always go with the direction of flow. Yeah, so we're not going to attempt this. We could damage our equipment. So we're right at about 80 feet here, pulling back our cable here. So we're going to go ahead and pause and locate to see where this is exactly at on the perimeter of the backyard. Okay, so we did go ahead and locate this on the side of the house. So from the backyard looking back towards the house, we're obviously on the left-hand side. The pipe is about 2 feet 8 inches deep to the bottom approximately, so about 32 inches deep where these roots are. We did go up farther upstream from here. We did find another box lid, circular small one that we didn't notice before. So we will be able to go back, continue past this point and in both directions because it does have a T-junction when we opened up the box. So we've marked this area with some green paint, and we will move our camera over to show so you can get an idea of where this is at on the property, so that if the roots get worse over time, you're just going to want to dig this up and fix it. Obviously, if you go in with a snake or a hydrojetter, that's just a temporary removal of the roots that are growing in. You're probably not actually going to flush them out of the pipe because it doesn't have all downhill slope. They would just settle in the line, and then you'd further exacerbate the crack in the pipe with that snaking or hydrojetting or chain knocking mechanism. So it would just cause more damage and cause it to then grow in faster. So we've got this marked. We're now going to pause and pull back to the 50-foot mark so we can locate and mark that one before we go to the next cleanout lid. Okay, so we located these roots, which again you can see are a little bit heavier. This is right before the 90-degree turn or so, where it starts to head up the side of the property. This pipe here is about 1 feet 7 inches deep, so it's about 19 inches deep. It's right in front of a little fruit tree, so this is obviously what's invading into here. We're going to go ahead and pull our camera out to show where these markings are and move to the next one, but we do have this marked with some green paint as well. Okay, so moved our camera over to the side of the yard here. And so our equipment is right there in the middle of the screen, the white bucket, that's where we started from. So right here, here's this little fruit tree, and right here the green paint mark, you can see bright green we marked on the ground. That's where that heavy root intrusion is right here. So now we'll go ahead and walk up this side of the house here along the divider wall from the neighbor and show where the next marking is. Okay, real fast, we're just re-recording this. I'm not sure if it took the first time. So right here in front of this fruit tree, this at 1 feet 7 inches deep, this is where the one heavy root intrusion is on the pipe. We'll now go up to the next one on the side of the home here, farther up. Okay, so now you can see we're closer up to the next level here off the pool. And right here, there was the other tree down there. Here's the green paint mark we've got here, where this pipe here is a lot deeper, closer to 2 feet 8 inches deep. About 32 inches deep. That's where the roots are all growing in from the bottom. Not super heavy, but quite a few feet long, and the pipe is cracked right there. That's why they're getting in as well. So we're now going to move up about 20 feet or so to the other clean out access grid box. Okay, so you can see now we're farther up from the area we marked down there. Here's the other box we found that we passed inadvertently previously. So we go down this pipe, you can see how deep it is. So we're going to go back in the first direction where we just stopped at, that we couldn't push further past where those roots were. So it should be about 20-25 feet from this entry point. bit of rocks and little debris accumulated in here. A little bit of roots right there. And then it looks like we've got some more roots right here, but this might be where we got to previously, or maybe not. These look a little bit thicker and heavier than what we had previously gotten to. So we're going to pause for 1 second to go ahead and there's a lot of debris in there, so our camera's getting kind of fogged up with the debris. There's nothing we can do about that for an area drain, unfortunately. Losing our image now. Okay, we're going to pause and just see where we're at in relation to the other marking. Okay, so we're still 9 feet away from getting to the other spot we marked. So this pipe here, also about 2 feet 10 inches deep, is what we picked up on our locator this time for this area. Again, our screen is black because there's so much roots and so much rocks and dirt and other debris that have gotten in there over the years, and so it basically is just going to keep our lens kind of blackened off because it's coated so thick. But again, we're 9 feet in front of the other one. We'll try to push past this point if we can. See, our lens is kind of opening up a little bit there, and you can see all these roots that are still in line, and in fact it's really heavy here where it's actually not even allowing our camera to go all the way through. But we can kind of see when it cleans off just a little bit here that they are extremely thick. So it looks like there's a pretty good area here of maybe about a 15-foot run from the first to the second that might need to be dug up and replaced altogether, because this one here is really bad as far as how thick the roots are. So we can't get past this point right here, very thick, so that'll need to be taken care of. So we're now going to pause and pull back out here. Okay, so we've marked the area here farther forward with the large green paint as well, past the other one. So from this access point where we went back towards that direction, we're now going to look farther upstream essentially to see if we can get past or farther down to where it might begin. Now, looks like we've got some roots intruding right here. As soon as we push in just a few inches, it's still kind of clouding our lens up, some of the debris that got on our camera lens. There we go. So there you go, you can see we've got some roots there. There's actually a little downspout entry point right there, and that's probably an access point that they're growing in from just a few feet in. So we're going to pull back just a little bit more because we're only a few feet in. We just want to show this. So let's see if it's roots or if it's just a lot of dirt and gravel, but it could be some small fine roots trying to get in. Alright, so we're just about to come back out right here. So all that, there you go. There's a little bit of roots in there, as you can see. Some small fine roots definitely getting in there. And then there's that drop point that might be coming from the bark bed here with the other trees in it. So we'll pull forward right to here. We're going to pause and to see where we're at. Okay, so this is just on the edge of the bark bed and the grass, but more towards in the bark bed. There's not any pipe protruding above ground. Back up here again just a little bit, where you see that white vertical pipe dropping into. So we're in a big 6-inch pipe, and it looks like that's a 4-inch pipe or a 3-inch dumping into it. We've marked it with some green paint on the grass because the bark will of course just get moved around, denoting this somewhat area right here. So not saying this one needs to be repaired right now through the roots that are getting in, but they're definitely growing in from where that pipe was cut to drop it in, because it wasn't used a normal T. They just cut the pipe and then pushed the pipe in. Not supposed to do that really for any type of fitting. But anyway, let's go upstream here, see how well we can see anything. So you can see there's some more small fine roots growing in right here at this hub, it looks like, from the hub itself probably. So we're going to go ahead and pause. We just want to see if this is in the bark bed or in the grass area. Okay, so this little coupling right here is in fact more in the bark bed, not on the edge of the bark to grass. The pipe is 3 feet deep. We've marked the grass across from where this area is at, and there's actually a light, a outdoor light that lights up the trees, that the pipe is almost directly underneath, which is about that foot inside to the bark bed. So you're going to have to move some electrical if you ever want to dig that up or repair it. Doesn't exactly need it right now, but we just want to make those notations. So little super small fine roots, as you can see, just kind of encapsulating in the pipe. And now we're coming up though to a bigger intrusion right here at this coupling in this area right here. So these are a little bit larger. So we'll take a photo of that, but we'll go ahead now and pause and locate where this is at. Okay, so same thing, we're just a little under 3 feet deep. We're about a foot into the bark bed. We've marked the grass outside of that area, denoting where that's kind of at though as far as its spot. We'll now continue down the pipe here. You can see these are a little bit heavier, growing out through all of this right here. Doesn't mean the pipe's not going to work for a long time, but yeah, that will get worse over time. Now here's another dump right here, you can see. So the roots are pretty heavy and thick, and then we have another one of those cutouts in the pipe right here. And then you can see a huge wall of roots right here, and this may be the beginning of the system itself. It may not go farther past that, but we're not going to be able to get past that, I can tell you that. That is solid. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video right here to locate this. Okay, so we've gone ahead and marked this area here. This is outside of the bark bed with the trees because it curves around. The bed does, and the line is straight, of course. The pipe here is only about 2 feet 4 inches deep that we picked up. We've got this marked. This may be the, again, very beginning of the line. Either that or it's so solid packed or a cave-in, we just don't know. So we've got that marked with a circle rather than a little line, since it might be the beginning. And then, as you can see, within a few inches of that is that other dump in right there. So now we're going to go ahead and pause and pull out this portion and show the above ground markings. Okay, so we went from that circular box there in the middle of the screen to the ground, comes across this this bed here with the bark and all the trees to the side of the house. So there's our first green marking right there, where there was some of those roots and that debris in the system. Here was the other with the T-Junction, which is underneath that little light right there. Then we have the next green dot you can see right there. Again, the pipe is about a foot inside of there. So now we'll move to the last one that's a little bit too far down to see from here. Okay, so we just came from down there, and then here is that very end of the line, the big circle right there we drew. So that's where it's compacted with a lot of roots and dirt, and we assume that might be the very beginning of the pipe itself, but we can't say for sure if it continues down the rest of the way in any way, shape, or form. We did not find any other boxes or lids the rest of the way. However, there are some, as you can see right there, from the halfway down the house here, there's a gutter system. So there's another gutter right here. And so this gutter right here that goes down around the corner of the house, that's pretty much right in line with the few inches before this circle. So it appears that that gutter is probably the dump for that one vertical we see right there. So again, if the other gutter is also doing the same thing, if it's not coming along the side of the house, which we wouldn't expect, it may be dumping into here, so there may be more pipe that way. We can't say for sure. So we're going to go look at the gutter really fast, but I don't believe there's any entry point there that we can use. No, so we don't see any other lids for sure the rest of the way, all the way to this side of the house. That other gutter would all have to be detached and taken apart and disassembled to try to put a camera in to see if that runs across the ground and going to another pipe, so that would mean that this one doesn't stop here but does continue upstream essentially from here to collect more things. We just can't say. So nothing we can do today as far as trying to get into that portion of the system, but we do know that obviously there's some heavy mud and roots intruding for quite a bit along this side here, which is going to be pretty normal with all these trees and the way the piping was installed. So we're now going to pause and move back down to the lower level. Okay, so we're now back in the lowest portion of the backyard where we had this original lid. We went to the left here. Now we're going to go off to the right. And again, as you look farther down the right across the grass, we have another box over on that side of the house, which probably leads up to the right side of the house. And then we do have the sump pump, so we'll see if this somehow dumps into that. Big turn right here on the system. And we've come to another box, it looks like, unless this is our lid from our sump pump, but I believe we're only 12 feet in, so I don't think we're far enough here. And we are hanging down at a very large 45-degree angle right here. So we're not going to be able to locate that. We have to pull back a little bit. So you can see there is a little white zip tie. There's a big grate. Wherever that's dumping over and across into. So now we're more at a horizontal level. We can stop right here before this 45. We'll pause and locate this. Okay, so the pipe right here is about 1.5 feet deep. It's right about 18 inches deep. We've marked this little line. It's a straight shot over, and then we put the letter 4 there, denoting this 45-degree elbow. So again, I really don't know what this is. I've never seen something like this before, unless this is a buried sump pump or some other chamber with a lid on it, because it's got a grate, it's got those white zip ties all over, but when you walk around the ground, this whole perimeter area, there is nothing but grass, so don't really know what's going on there, can't say. So we're going to go ahead and we'll take a quick photo of this. Okay, we're going to pause and pull back. Okay, so we just left the other one that emptied into that strange pit. And so now we're going to go down to this cover here, which is off this side of the house. It does go to the right, so we assume it picks up everything along the right side. But we're going to go into the left side here first to see if this continues straight or dumps into anything. So here is a 90-degree turn. We're now making a vertical drop. We're only barely 6 feet in. Okay, this is the same little grate cover. This might be some type of, the pump company that's here, some type of collection basin where then it collects the water and then pumps it up on occasion. So we're going to go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we've gone ahead and marked this area with the grass. Again, it's just 4 feet, 5 feet away from this grate. Here we marked it with the line and the number 9, because this is a 90-degree turn right here. And then it leads into what appears to be this sealed grate with a massive storage tank possibly, which then might be housing the pumps that are leading into this other drainage system, which actuates when the water level gets too low. It might be pulling it out of these storage tanks. There's the pump companies here trying to make that determination as well. It appears that's what's going on. But again, this is buried underground like a septic tank is. We have no access to it. There's no above ground markings, lids, or anything else. So let me take another snapshot photo of that. We're now going to go ahead and pause and try to get in through one of the 2-inch lines to see if that's any other indicators or where the line's going to and from, because there's nothing through the back gate that leads off to the canyon that we can get to that shows anything. Okay, so this is the containment system we have right here, and the pump company determined that the float mechanism, which they just retied off, actually works in reverse. So there's not a sump pump down in here. This is a reverse float on this vertical PVC pipe you see right here. So when the water level actually gets too low, then it turns on, and in this 1-inch PVC 45 you see right there, the water floods into here. And then as we look down the line here, right here it appears we're going to go ahead and try to get our camera in. We think that right there might be an opening where the stuff is draining out, gravity, maybe down to the hillside. No, my camera wouldn't go in through there, so either there's a little offset or something else. So let's go ahead and see through the 2-inch where we discharged. See if this PVC, now that's full of water right there all the way. of water still. We're headed straight quite a few feet. We should be getting pretty close to the retaining wall. Okay, here we go. Here's our 90-degree turn. This camera may not make, this is a PVC 90, it's a hard 90 rather than a drain pipe 90, so we're going to have to use a very small camera to try to maneuver that turn. We may not still be able to, but we'll give that an attempt. But this whole pipe is full of solid water, so I'm not sure how or where this is leading to. Okay, so we want to go ahead and show, so basically just off of this other box that we just left, we have this other basin, collection basin here, and essentially it is a reverse float mechanism. The pump company that happened to be here when we got here and we all determined. So this pipe right here is holding a float that when the water level gets too low, it actually turns on. And the water comes in from this 1-inch pipe right here under pressure, and it's actually controlled all the way back by the pool equipment. I located and found the pipe comes from an irrigation standard control valve, and that's what turns on. It ejects and puts in regular clean water into this pump basin, and then that naturally then just irrigates out to some kind of area. Now, the larger pipe right here, which we have this little black camera in as well, that goes all the way to the exact same spot over there. We have this small camera. We'll kind of show it on this. We can't hook up the two cameras interlinked to the monitors, but that's a PVC fitting with the blue glue you're kind of trying to look at right there from this little camera system. So that's what we're in right now with this black little push rod stuck inside this 2-inch pipe. So it's some type of system that is giving groundwater back, maybe to the back canyon areas, and then these other two big grates that are leading into those buried weird underground, appears to be collection chambers. I guess those are acting like septic tanks essentially with leach lines that then eventually run off to the back here beyond this tree line and bush line down the canyon to help keep it irrigated without using regular irrigation lines, I'm guessing. So a different system. It's functioning right now, and there's no hiccups with it, but that's how this is kind of set up. So there's no sump pump for this setup. This is a gravity feed line that's auto-filled with a regular clean water from an irrigation control valve. So we're now going to pause, and we're going to move over to the last run we have here in this box, headed the opposite direction. Okay, so now we're going to go into this box. The left, again, was where it's going into some type of possible collection basin system. We're going to go to the right here. Got a little bit of roots or debris coming in right from this first coupling, just a few inches in, literally, from the top there, but it's very small. And a bunch of cobwebs in there. Push through this. Okay, here's a 90-degree turn, which is what we expected. Now, we walked up the side of the place here because we have a basketball court and a golfing grounds, and did not see any other area drain lids anywhere else. So this may be the only one that's at least exposed for this side, but so far not finding any roots, so that's the important thing anyway. Everything's still free and clear here, not finding anything inside the pipe. Here is a T-Junction right here, right at about 49 feet. So let's go ahead and pause real quick to see where this is at, if it is a lid. Okay, this pipe is 2 feet 8 inches deep, so it's 32 inches deep. This right here is in a bark bed that's next to surrounding the pool equipment area. It's almost getting directly to be underneath the little mini palm tree that's there. So that's where this is at. But again, there's no roots growing in, so that's good. But it's not the surface right there. There's nothing there. Here's another little dump-in line right here. This might be to collect water off the basketball court or the surrounding area off of there, and that's cut in and dumping in there. But no roots in the line, so that's the important thing. The line is all clear. That's all that really matters. It's getting harder to push. We don't know if we'll get up all the way. Here's another T-junction right here that's dumping in the line. This might be under the basketball court itself. And as we push forward here a few more feet, it looks like I can see another opening dumping in right there. Yep, there's another one right there. So let me go ahead and pause just to locate to see where this one's at in relation. Okay, yes, so both of these are under the basketball court. So this one right here is a little bit to the left of the hoop. Another one's a little bit just to the right or almost even centered underneath it. So that's where these are dumping in from. As we push forward here again, we may not be able to get too much further. We're probably going to get to see some more tees if they have anything underneath the putting green surfaces. But did not see, yeah, we can't get any further. We're stuck at about 80 feet. It's really far out and we're going uphill. So we'll go ahead and locate where we're at right here and just do one more double check to see if there's one that we didn't notice in the putting green. Okay, so this is in fact almost to the putting green. We're about a foot short of headed to the putting green. But we walked across the putting green into the driveway, and there's no more area drain lids or covers or access points. We do have rain gutters, of course, coming from that side of the house in a couple spots, which cannot be detached at this time. So my guess is, though, that they do actually dump into a pipe that might continue all the way down. It's also possible that the putting holes themselves, the cups, those might lead into the drain. There's a little bit of water in some of them, so they may actually be one of the areas, besides the material that's used on there to help it collect, and it might go into this pipe. So this might continue all the way up the driveway, collect all the putting green, and then continue and catch the rain gutters that continue up from the sides of the home. But we've got no way to be able to access the rest of the pipe from there on out. So we can't say if once you get onto the driveway where there's some larger, bigger trees from the fence line that they're getting in or not. The gutters would all have to be detached and see if those lead into there and if you could inspect those. But this is as far as we can get with all the access we have right here without taking things apart quite heavily, which we can't do at this point. So that concludes the recording for this property.